You're going Stricker top 10.
I am. He has 2 top 10s
My
this year,
God.
by the way, just so you know. And he won the major last week, so there. Three. What's good, everybody? Another week on the PGA Tour, and that means another episode of Cash Out with the Coaches. I am the coach. He is Travis Fulton, and we've taken the show completely on the road. Trav, I'm in Florida. I drove by your house, and you weren't there. Where are you, sir?
I'm over on the West Coast. I'm in northern Idaho, little town that I grew up in, and I had this beautiful backdrop, and of course we were testing it. I had all the bars, everything was lined up. I wanted to show you these beautiful mountains, Coach. I'll send you some pictures. Maybe Cody can sprinkle them.
I appreciate it.
But it didn't work. So I'm in the basement of my parents' house, right outside the little golf course I grew up on. It's called Pinehurst. We call it Pinehurst number 1. You may have heard of Pinehurst number 2.
I have. Yes.
This is Pinehurst number 1, little 9-hole course over here. I'll be playing that this afternoon. I'll let you know how it goes.
Well, it's funny how your career has kind of come full circle. You started in your parents' basement, and now, several years later, you're back in your parents' basement doing the show. But before the tech drops out on us again, because this is crazy, this is 2021, let's jump right in because we've got a lot to get to. We're a week away from the Open Championship. Next week, we'll have all the coverage for that, the year's final major now. But this week is a John Deere Classic, and last year, they didn't play it. We'll get into the preview in a second, but before we look forward quickly, we got to say congratulations, Trav, to Cam Davis and anybody who bet on him last week. How about plus 12,800 for a $100 bet? And he finished eagle, birdie on 18 to get into a playoff, and then he beat Troy Merritt. And my guy, Joaquin Niemann, how impressed were you with the 3-under over the final 2 holes finish to get his first win on the PGA Tour?
Yeah, I mean, it's very impressive. We've been waiting on Cam Davis. We've talked about him a lot, really, over the last year. Mm-hmm. This is a up-and-coming player who has the modern game. He's got that big physique. He's strong. He's long. But he just hadn't really put it all together. He's 26 years of age, Australian. He swings the club a lot like a fellow Aussie by the name of Adam Scott. But he just wasn't doing enough in the approach game. Short game, putting, something was, a little bit of everything kind of holding him back. And then all of a sudden, I think the light has come on. He's arrived. He's got his first win now. And now I think really for him is, can he maintain some consistency up there on the first page of the leaderboard? Because Cam has kind of, he'll kind of go away for a while. And he wasn't really showing much form coming in. So a little bit of a surprise, although it seemed like a lot of people on social media did have that ticket. Either 125 or 100 to 1. And it was impressive. Anytime you go eagle birdie to finish, that's big time.
Yeah, it was a little ironic, too, for Joaquin Niemann, who went the entire 72 holes without a bogey, and then he bogeys the first playoff hole to get eliminated. So it's just kind of funny how golf works that way. But the kind of cool thing is that Cameron Davis was already signed up to play this week at the John Deere, so he will be in the field, even though it does not have a great field. A lot of the big-time players have gone over to the Scottish Open to prepare for the Open Championship, which a lot of them do the week before. So the big names this week are, Daniel Berger, Cameron Davis. But this is a tournament where an off-brand player, as I like to call him, has a chance to change their career. And we know, Trav, you better have your passport with you. Because if you win this event, you get on that private jet and you fly over. And we've seen in years past it happened to Jordan Spieth. He had to call the Washington, D.C. to get himself a passport. But it's still a big week for a lot of people. Bryson won here. Spieth has won here. So it's a big-time tournament for a up-and-coming to really get that 2-year extension. And the fans here love this tournament. Kind of give us an overview on the kind of player and what TPC Deere Run is all about.
Well, I think we're going to just kind of continue on from last week. You look at Detroit, Rocket Mortgage. The guys didn't go as low as years past, but for the most part, a pretty easy golf course for them. Very straightforward. TPC Deer Run, I think, is much like the Detroit Country Club. I've played Deer Run a couple times, and yes, the rough is long, but it's pretty generous off the tee. The reality is, and I'll kind of say some of the same things I did last week, you're going to see players hitting more fairways on average here. You're going to see players hitting more greens on average. You're going to see players getting up and down more often than they would versus other golf courses. They 3-putt less here. Proximity, the hole is tighter. These are back-to-back comfort stations here for tour players, right? And on purpose, we want to see some birdies from time to time. So, this is an easy course for these guys. So I think with that said, you start breaking it down. This is all about approach and putting. Approach always weighs out. But this week, Coach, I'm really dialed in between 125 and 175. Those are the numbers that you've got to win here. Wedges, 9s, 8s, 7s. You got to be in there tight, proximity, making 15-foot putts. Bent grass greens once again this week. Only 7,200 yards. But yeah, I think the word that comes to mind for me, Coach, is opportunity. This is an opportunity for everybody in the field to get a win. Dylan Fratelli won here in 19. Michael Kim won here in 2018. In DraftKings fantasy right now, he's 6,100. I mean, it's like, that's kind of what we're up against here.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
It is. I've been looking at a player or two that I think can come up, has an opportunity to break through and get that first win and jump on that jet over to Europe.
I'm a little disappointed. We're going to get into our picks right now because it's kind of a condensed version of the show this week. But I'm a little disappointed, and I understand players win and they get bigger and you can't play all the different events. But Jordan Spieth hasn't played since the U.S. Open. He won here. He won at the Travelers, and he doesn't show up at either place. Bryson, we didn't think he would show up this week. He's playing in the match. He played the match Tuesday night. So it's just one of those situations. A little disappointing. I'm sure the people at John Deere wish that the players had a little more loyalty to a place that gave them a chance when they were starting out. But it is what it is. And when you're on this part of the calendar, you're going to get who you get, and that's what it is. But it's a little disappointing, to be honest with you, that some of the former champions are not playing this week and heading over early to either play in the Scottish Open or just take the week off. And we're going to get into all the COVID restrictions in our Open preview later. But for now, let's jump in to our matchups for the week. We've had a really good last few weeks, cashing anywhere from 3 to 5 tickets a week, which is a really good number. So here's what we do every week. If you're just joining us for the very first time, welcome. We take a fictional $100, and we do 5 different picks, 2 head-to-head matchups, a top 20, a tournament winner, and a wild card. Last week, Troy Merritt, I had him as a top 10, thought he played really well. He ends up in the playoff, which was great for the show. So let's get right into it, Trav. Who is your first matchup of the week, and why do you like it?
Well, I'm going to go a little bit of chalk here, I believe, out of the gate. Number 1, Daniel Berger, minus 125 over Brian Harman. Put $30 on it. Last week we saw the chalk fade. That kind of hurt me with Bryson. He's got a lot of stuff going on. Things kind of blew up for him last week, which we didn't anticipate. I've got some thoughts on Bryson when we get to the preview show for the Open Championship. But I'm going to kind of stay with the chalk here. There's not much up top here. You start looking at Daniel Berger, then you get into Russell Henley. You get into Sungjae M. You know how I feel about him. So it's like I think there's some separation here. Berger certainly handled the field at the AT&T. This is a similar field. There's not many here. Harman certainly has some value. He won back here in 2014. But I just, I look at those numbers, 125 to 175. Daniel's so good there. He's so good in par 4 and par 5 scoring average. He's a good putter. Harman's certainly a better putter, probably a better short game player. But I just think Berger's exceptional when it comes to ball striking, and I think that'll weigh out. He can go low as well. I'm going to go chalk here on the first one. Only giving up 25 cents. I'll take it.
I'm a little tempted, but I've lost 2 straight bets with you. And so I'm a little gun shy, to be honest with you, because I think it'll make more sense when I give you my first head-to-head matchup. Because my first head-to-head looks a little something like this. Brian Harman, minus 150, and the juice is a little high, but Brian Harman plays well here. He's been successful here in the past. He has been as rock solid across the board as any player on the PGA Tour at non-major events in 2021. And I think Russell Henley is so hot and cold. I'm hoping this is a cold week for him. But regardless, Brian Harman is a favorite this week, and I think he's going to back up the numbers, and he's my first head-to-head matchup. And I'm going to decide, Trav, over the course of the next 5 to 10 minutes, whether or not I want to challenge you on that first bet, but I got to think about it.
Okay.
I'm going to think about it.
Okay. You can think about it. Look, Henley should do well here. Good ball striker. You know, I'm losing confidence with Henley, and from a win equity standpoint, he looks a little nervous down the stretch. Last couple times he's been in the gun, under the gun. But, you know, there's your class. Those three, throw a Sanjay in there, and that's the class of this tournament right now. So, yeah, think about that. I kind of like this $100 bet, perhaps.
Okay.
BERGER over Harman. Let me know what you want to do.
You know, I don't need to think about it anymore. It's done. It's done. I'm challenging you. Are we doing a cash out bet? Yes. Boom.
Ma, meatloaf.
That's one of the greatest scenes ever. Meatloaf, all right. That's one of the greatest. That's one of the greatest ever. Meatloaf. All right, give me your second head-to-head matchup that you like this week.
Well, I'm up here in the Pacific Northwest, and I've been telling you about this guy, Kyle Stanley. He lives in Spokane. See, Coeur d'Alene's just right over here.
Okay. Beautiful
lake. And then Spokane, Washington is right next. That's where Kyle Stanley lives. Kyle, let me tell you something. I kind of hinted this last week. He finished 41st. If Stanley could just figure out at all, how to make the ball hit the hole when he's putting, at all, and show a pulse, he is going to win. I mean, his ball striking is on a major heater. We're talking like JT numbers. We're talking like Colin Morikawa numbers. This dude is good off the tee. He's exceptional with his irons, and he can't hit his ass with a handful of rice putting. I mean, it's like, what are you doing? I mean, just give me +1, a pulse, and he's going to beat Vegas easily. I know Vegas plays some easy courses pretty well up at Glen Abbey and those kinds of things. But I just think Stanley is brewing, man. I mean, just any pulse at all with a putter, the upside is going to be enormous.
I am quite certain I've never heard a person actually pick a player after saying he needs to figure out how to hit the hole with his putter. Hit the hole with a putt. But hey, if that's what you want to go with, then I can't dismiss how good he has been with his irons. He's been terrific. And he actually had a decent week last week. But to your point, he couldn't make any putts, which is why he finished, T40 or T45. But his ball striking numbers are always really, really good. So all he has to do in the head-to-head matchups, we tell you people at home all the time, is beat one guy. And this time Kyle Stanley has to beat Jonathan Vegas. That's it. All right, my number two. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, I was just going to say, it's like there's so many players that you could say that he just needs a good putting week. But there's players like Kyle Stanley, like a Doug Gim. I mean, they're such exceptional ball strikers relative to the tour, you know, and they gobble up so many strokes can't approach off the tee, that they only need probably a couple +2, 3, maybe putting, and they'll win. I mean, that's kind of where it is. Yeah. Now, easier said than done. Their Achilles heel is the putter. So it spikes once in a while for Kyle. He's due. It spiked at Valspar. Let's spike in Moline, Illinois. Quad City DJs, baby.
Well, I tell you what, I think the crowds are going to be chomping at the bit since they didn't get to play last year. And so it's been 2 years since they played this tournament. I think they're really going to be ready to go. I love my next pick. And he had a really good week last week, and he had a really good Sunday, low round. I'm going to go Seamus Power, +110 over Cameron Davis, your champion in Detroit. The hardest thing to do in golf is to play back-to-back weeks after a win. And a lot of players withdraw. And they say, you know what, I'm wiped out emotionally. I've got nothing left. I was in the mix. I'm in the heat. And Cameron Davis didn't do that. Now, there's a lot of reasons he didn't do that, because even though he was 81st and he moves up to 34th, I believe, in the FedEx Cup standings. So all these players know now, Trav, that the higher you are in the regular season, the better chance you have of winning that $15 million. So just because he won, he's still not even qualified for the Tour Championship yet. So it makes sense for him to play this week. But I just think it's going to be hard for him getting out of the gate to re-get himself up And so Seamus Power should have a good lead after day one, and I think hang on to beat him head-to-head. Plus, I'm getting plus money. Yeah. I love this play this week.
Yeah, I do too. I'm going to play that one as well. That's a good bet.
Thank you very much. All right, let's move to our top 20. Who do you like here?
Well, let's go top 20. Who did I pick? Oh,
HENLEY, LeBioda.
LeBioda, the lefty from Florida State. Let's keep the heater going. You know, LeBioda, I think, is getting comfortable now. I don't know if I would comfortable to win yet, but I think comfortable. He's putting himself now in contention. He looked a little shaky a couple weeks ago in contention at Travelers down the stretch. You know, he got up there. I think he got the lead by himself with 9 to play. And he went bogey, right? And then last week, he looked a little more comfortable in contention in Detroit. You know, he's hitting the ball well. I think his short game's coming around, although I don't think that's a huge metric to be looking at a course like this. If you're depending on your short game in TPC Deere Run, well, you're going to get lapped by this field. We need greens. We need to keep this hot putter going on bent grass. Hank's a good putter on bent grass greens. He's really filling it up at the Travelers. He filled it up at Detroit. We're talking +5, +6. I think he keeps it going at +225. I just felt like that was a really good number considering the field, considering the confidence that he has coming in. I think LeBioda keeps it going, and another top 20 this week.
Clearly, the market has not caught up with this guy.
No, it hasn't, right.
This should be at a +150, maybe a +160. But getting him, Trav, I'm shocked too. I love this play, and I played him 2 times on individual round bets last week, and I won on both of them because he had a really good week. So I love this play. I'll probably play this at a top 20 this week for sure. All right, my top 20 is a guy who has been playing well, and at these off-brand tournaments, I love Tom Lewis at this number. To kind of imitate what you just said, is he ready to win yet? No. When he gets in contention, he stumbles. He does. But all we need him to do is finish in the top 20. So you're getting me +330 on a guy who has proven he can play on the PGA Tour and he can compete on the PGA Tour, and now he has to believe in himself to win on the PGA Tour. I would never play this if it was a full field event with top 10 players in it. But this week, I think this is a great play at a great number for a guy who can certainly be a top 20 player in this field.
Yeah. No, I like the pick too. Tom Lewis. I was on him last week with DraftKings. Not a win ticket, but I think a top 20 is certainly in realm here for Mr. Lewis as well. Playing good. Likely not quite as good as LeBioda, but I do think you get the feeling that Lewis has taken some confidence in here again this week. And I think these guys are licking their chops here. I mean, with this field, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity.
No question.
To make a lot of money, get in contention, get the juices going, and maybe clip off a win.
Yeah, a win is still almost $1 million, even though it's a little bit less than a normal event, but you're still going to win almost $1 million. Second place is in that, $500,000. So there's a lot of money, and it's a full FedEx points event as well. All right. I know that you looked at the winning numbers, and you've been really good at picking winners so far since we started the show in November. Who do you like this week? Trav, talk to me.
You know, I'm just going to stretch it out here a little bit. We've seen Dylan Fratelli win. We saw Michael Kim win here.
I don't remember that. Didn't even remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember that. Yeah.
He was 27 under par.
Wow.
So I just kind of I took a deep dive, and I'll give the players some odds here, and I went with the Texas Longhorn, BEAU HOSSLER at 80 to 1. Now let me take you back a few weeks ago when I hit Garrick Hago at 57 to 1. We're gonna stretch that out to 80 to 1. I think BEAU is starting. He's starting to put it together. All right. He switched putting coaches. I can't tell you who his putting coach is right now. Only I know that, and the coach, and BEAU. But my resources are good. And BEAU, his putter's been holding him back. You look at him the last couple of weeks, it's starting to turn around. I think he's starting to get some good mojo going. with the putter. BEAU is a good ball striker. BEAU is good in those ranges that I talked about. BEAU knows how to win. You go back to Texas, he was a very good collegiate player, right? Scotty Scheffler was number 2 behind BEAU. Doug Gim was number 3 behind BEAU. BEAU knows how to get it done. BEAU knows golf. But he's struggled a little bit, I think, since turning pro. I think he's a little underachieved, but I do think you look at him 19th at Palmetto, 10th at the Travelers, 25th at the Rocket. Let's give the people something to get excited about this weekend before the Open Champion. Let's get BEAU HOSSLER back on the first page again in a weak field. Let the short irons go to work, and let that putter continue to make putts. And BEAU HOSSLER is going to be 4th win on this show.
Two things. First of all, stop talking about BEAU HOSSLER like he's Bo Jackson. He couldn't even hold Bo Jackson's job. Second of all, you act like you're sitting on information that TMZ is calling you for. Hey, do you know who BEAU HOSSLER's putting coach is? No, TMZ is not caring about that. But I respect the fact that you have to sit on that very exciting information about BEAU HOSSLER. So I'm going to let you keep that.
It's valuable information. It's so valuable that you go back to Palmetto, where he was +6 in approach and putts like a dog and finished his 19th. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference. Like, he can hit the ball well enough to win. I think he knows how to win. But you got to make some putts and you got to fill up. So anyway, those are the kind of things you look for.
Okay.
You look for, yeah. And when you're trying to get a long shot.
I understand. And his numbers in that sweet spot, because you had Harris English the week before, who's always in that +2,000. And then you got Cameron Davis, who was 128 to 1. And so this would fit right into that. I'm going to go with a guy who is one of the betting favorites. And I've already played him in a matchup. And I just feel like this is the week. He won and was successful here a few years ago, right before he was getting married. We remember all that. And I think Brian Harman could get it done again because he's been playing so well. But you know my rule. I hate making a play under +2,000. But in a field like this and the way he's been playing, as much as I would like to go with a guy like BEAU HOSSLER, and I can't get past this name right here. So I said I'm playing it. And I'm going to be playing him in a matchup. I'm probably going to do a top 20. And I'm going to sprinkle, just a little sprinkle, on Brian Harman to win at +1,600.
Yeah. I'll bet you.
You're like,
I'll bet you 100 he doesn't win.
I may look stupid, but I'm not that stupid. No way. But I mean, to me, it was like rolling dice. I don't know who's going to win this week, but I had to go with somebody playing good, and he's playing great golf right now.
One thing you know about Harman is he can get on a heater with the putter. I mean, that's what he can do. I worry a little bit in the approach game with him sometimes, but that dude is magic with the putter when he gets it going.
He has broken my heart so many times this year betting against him in head-to-head matchups that I will not do it again. I will play him on courses like this. I won't do it. I won't bet against him because he very quietly throws out 67s and 68s seemingly every single round, no matter the course that he plays on. So you got to be strategic, but he's a guy that can win you a lot of money, certainly. All right, our wild card, our 5th and final pick of the week. It could be anything on the board. What do you got?
I feel good about my picks this week. I really do. I'm going to go to a guy that you mentioned, Seamus Power. Top 20, +150. You know, you look at Seamus Power, I think it's really kind of a lot like Lebiota. I mean, this is a guy, what I get excited about with players is when they're showing improvement in multiple areas of the game. You know, it's not just one area spiking and they had a good week, right? It's like, oh, well, of course he had a good week. He was 8 strokes putting that week, positive. But with Seamus, it's like we're working off of 4 top 20s in a row right now. Coming into this, he's driving the ball better. His approach game's getting better. His short game's better. His putting's consistent. Like, he's becoming a better professional golfer, and the stats are there. So I like, why not? I mean, similar skill set to what we were looking for last week. We bring him over here to TPC John Deere. similar skill set's going to do well here. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't go out there and get top 20. And I'll certainly bet him to win as well this week. I think he's getting closer to get in contention. A couple things goes his way. I wouldn't be surprised to see Power win this, but if he doesn't, it'll certainly be BEAU HOSSLER for sure.
Well, this is certainly the week that we've seen historically that it's always somebody who's winning for the first time, who's figuring it out. For some reason, this is one of those tournaments that is like that. And so I love him. And I would encourage people at home who bet every single week to go back and look at leaderboards for the recent weeks and really look at the names that are showing up there and take that information and what we give you. Because sometimes, like what Trav just said, 4 straight top 20s, you probably didn't know that at home. And so there is sometimes you play a trend because players get on rolls. And certainly the last 3 weeks has been tournaments that have not had the great players at the top. And you got to be able to position those. So I love this play, and I'm definitely going to make it myself. Now, I know you love my wild card this week, Trav. You love my guy this week. I'm going to go with the guy. Yes. I'm going to go with the guy who's won here 3 times. He has 2 top 10s on the PGA Tour, despite the fact that he's well over 50 years old. He won last week on the Senior PGA Tour, a senior major. He's in form. He's a Ryder Cup captain. It's all about Steve Stricker, and he loves this golf course. I'm playing him plus 200 for a top 20. This was an easy pick for me. I love rooting for Steve Stricker.
Yeah, look, he's playing great golf, and he really is. He's letting his clubs do the talking. He probably would like a couple of his Ryder Cup members to do the same thing. But he's coming home. He's won 3 times here. He knows this golf course. It's 7,200 yards. He can overcome that. I wouldn't be a bit surprised Stricker comes in here and clips off a top 20, giving up the distance that he's going to give up off the tee.
It's hard to find a number that's better than this for a player that we feel confident in. And it's no slight to the other 120 or 30 players, but they have to prove to us, Trav, that they're worthy of us picking them to finish in a particular spot. And right now, there's not a lot of players that are doing that. So I feel great about your picks. I feel great about our picks.
I feel good about this week.
I really, really do. And don't forget, we've got a big open preview coming up as well. We'll certainly tweet out when that's going to be in your feed as soon as we get that done. Any final thoughts for the John Deere Classic, Trav?
Well, it's going to be a birdie fest, right? And, those are fun to watch once in a while. We saw it last week. We're going to see it this week. But it's an opportunity. You're going to see some names that you normally don't see up there consistently. They know that. And so it's always an interesting week to see how it pans out come late Sunday. Are we going to have a Fratelli? Are we going to have a Michael Sam? Or are we going to, you're going to see a big name like a Bryson, that was there a few years ago. So, BERGER's definitely the class. But when golf, hey, it doesn't mean anything because you got to go up there and tee it up for 4 straight days. But I can't wait to get back on here next week and talk about the win that BEAU HOSSLER will have as he shows up to the winner's circle for the first time, just like Cameron Davis did last week.
Well, it's a little surprising to me because I know somebody's actually going to be calling it on PGA Tour Live this week. Oh, wait, you're talking to your boy right here. He's going to be calling PGA Tour Live. And shockingly, Trav, BEAU HOSSLER is not in our featured groups this week. Yeah, I was a little shocked by that. But he is not. But we do have some pretty good featured groups, and I'm excited to be here. What's that?
Watch that putting stroke.
I'm just going to start laughing if somehow he ends up in our coverage and he starts making everything under the sun. Or Kyle Stanley, I'll say, make a putt. Coach, what are you doing? Why are you rooting for Kyle Stanley? No reason whatsoever. All right, that's going to do it for this week. I hope you know at home everything we went through to get this show to you because we grind and we grind for all of you. For Samantha, for Cody, who does an amazing job putting the show together, and, of course, our incredible partners and sponsors at Sports Pub Media. Follow them on social media, Instagram, and also Twitter as they continue to grow their brand, and we try to grow it with them. That's going to do it. For Travis, I'm the coach. And remember, if you're going to cash out every single week, why not cash out with the coaches? Good luck.
See you.
guys, what's good? This is the coach. You may know me from PGA Tour Live, the Golf Channel, or even ESPN. I wanted to interrupt this YouTube video real quick to tell you how to get the best and most entertaining golf betting content every single week, and it's all for free. It's called Cash Out with the Coaches. I've teamed up with legendary golf instructor Travis Fulton, and he's also a PGA Tour insider, to bring you the unscripted, unfiltered PGA Tour betting talk and analysis. All you have to do is subscribe to Sports Pub's new channel, and you'll get access to our Cash Out with the Coaches show before every single PGA Tour event. You can also play along with the coaches, too. We don't hold anything back on this free show, and all you have to do is subscribe to Sports Pub's channel with the button on the video, and you'll have access to every single show. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Can't wait to see you on the channel.